New at 6, a new study looks at changes to people who witness traumatic events. The study shows the difference between people who have PTSD versus people with bystander PTSD. Emily Harrison breaks down the key findings and how gender could play a role.
I was actually watching a news story several years back of the condo collapse in Miami. And I remember them reporting on someone who was across the street, and they were talking about witnessing it happening, and they were describing symptoms that matched with what would be PTSD.
So researcher Timothy Jarome decided to study the difference between experiencing PTSD and witnessing trauma. Jarome found those results at the molecular level, specifically in the brain's fear memory and certain proteins.
What we were noticing was that ubiquitin binds to a lot of other proteins, and we were seeing that it was binding to some of the same proteins in the direct versus the indirect experience, but it was also binding to different proteins.
There's also a difference between how men and women process watching traumatic events. Studies already show women are twice as likely to develop PTSD than men. Jarome says he found that by just witnessing traumatic events, women are using different parts of the brain.
There's an empathy component, and so you're watching it happen to someone else, and your ability to put yourself in someone else's position and feel their emotions is going to be important, and how you respond to that event. And so we were actually seeing a greater engagement in a brain region that's involved in empathy. That is going to really change kind of the circuit, so to speak, of how these memories are stored.
Jarome hopes that with time, these findings will help fuel further research in treating and curing PTSD and its symptoms for everyone. Emily Harrison, 13 News Now.
According to the National Center for PTSD, more than half of all women will witness at least one traumatic event in their lifetime. Of that half, about 10 to 12% of them will be diagnosed with PTSD.